A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Welcome to today's video blog. There was a conference that I went to, and in the conference, we dealt with two terms, and those terms I'll show you in the following scene. Thank you very much for your presentation. It was beautiful. You took a lot of complex information and compressed it so well. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
I wanted to actually go to the accounting side.
Okay.
If you have a great income statement and balance sheet, when we're looking at the variable cost and the fixed cost, is this a part of the VC's evaluation? And the second question deals with the preferred stock. How would you, as a startup, make the negotiation with the VC when you don't have a contract or you actually haven't went public yet? So if you can give us some light on that.
Sure. So in answer to your first question, yes, the variable costs and the fixed costs absolutely come into consideration because it deals with a couple of issues. One, it deals with scalability and the amount of capital that it's going to take to get the company to scale. So how much fixed costs, how much capital, how much capex are we going to have to spend, and how is that going to impact how much money we have to raise along the way, and how diluted am I going to get? So yes, that does have some impact on it.
Many people in today's society are not aware of the small details surrounded around business and business operations. So your brother Umar is going to take it upon himself to really break down the dimensions of business. The two terms are variable and fixed costs. Now, what are variable and fixed costs? You as an individual going to work every day, you probably don't even want to know, nor do you care. But be aware that you as an employee, no matter what job you work in, fit in this attribute of variable or fixed cost. Are you aware that the American system does not see employment or you as an employee as a fixed cost? That's right, the great country America that everyone enjoys this good money. You're not a fixed cost underneath the operational model or the budgetary systems of your current firm, whether it be McDonald's or Goldman Sachs. So if business owners don't see their employees as fixed cost, then what is? We know in South Korea, the employee is a fixed cost. You might be happy, because now you probably figured out the pattern in the relationship between fixed and variable costs. It's very simple. Fixed cost is a cost that the company pays no matter what the situation is. It has to be paid in order for the company to go further into profit or become even more profitable. Variable cost is a cost that fluctuates from volume of production of the company or any other variables that are unknown or unspoken of, whether it be depreciation or the degradation or the slow breaking down of a machine or mechanism. Now, variable costs and fixed costs are important and political. And this is for the simple reason. Let's go back to our example of South Korea and how they view employment as a fixed costs. So there's a young man in South Korea. His name is Yao. Yao wakes up in the morning, right? He goes to work just like everybody else in their different surroundings. But Yao has a different scenario. Let me speak to Yao's situation. Yao's day goes like this. He wakes up in the morning at 5:30 a.m. He commutes to Seoul, which is the capital of South Korea, and he gets out and goes to work. He's there by 8:30. Yao doesn't leave work until 9 p.m. But yet he's viewed as a fixed cost. So you might ask the question, is it profitable for a company as a business owner to say to himself that I want my employees to be fixed cost? Well, in South Korea, when the classification of fixed cost is clear, your employees work 40 times as hard. Whereas in America, you're not a fixed cost. You're a variable cost, but you're expendable. So in our capitalistic system that we so much praise, there's dimensions that even the people and participants within the capitalist structure don't quite understand. As you're making money, as you're running through the world in the Western countries, whether it be Europe, America, we all base the knowledge on what's called general accounting principles, or general accepted accounting principles, which is called GAAP for short. And these principles rule all businesses, whether it be a small business or a large corporate firm. It's the balance sheet, an income statement, a small sheet of paper that says whether the company's in the red or in the green. That means that you keep your job or not. It really has little to do with performance. Performance is minuscule. Because you're a variable cost, you are expendable. If you were a fixed cost, you'd be working like our example, Yao. To conclude our discussion today, I took two somewhat complicated ideas out of accounting to bring it in front of you for you to analyze your position as an employee. Looking at it from a business perspective is a rather complicated and disadvantaged position. But in reality, you have to remember that the capitalistic system is a disadvantaged and rather faulty system. So based upon these two variables, you're just as flaky as the system you function in. I don't mean you. I mean your employer, your job, the Wall Street. These things are very fragile. So work. We all want work. So keep working. Don't stop working. Don't stop feeding your family. But be aware that everything in our surroundings is as equally as fragile as a delicate flower growing on top of a mountain, alone, isolated, between two stones. This concept of work is fragile. Unemployment rates going up. Pensions being erased in the UK. We're seeing a disintegration of an emerging system. An emerging system that made many people rich in the early 1900s, and now it is disintegrating slowly. But do you worry? No, you don't. Because you're Muslim. And as a Muslim, we all understand that the Prophet ﷺ has offered us in one phrase a solution to capitalistic demands. You didn't think I was going to bring it back to the deen? Well, you were wrong. There was a book, the author I forget, but it deals with the Prophet ﷺ, spending a day with the Prophet. And in there's a hadith that quotes what Rasulullah ﷺ, may peace and blessings be upon him, quoted, which is, pay the worker before his sweat dries. And in that is the solution to capitalism. If corporate America paid every employee before their sweat dried, their pay, they wouldn't have to look at them as being a variable or fixed cost. They would be a cost, period. An expenditure that must be paid before the closing trial balance or balance sheet is closed or finalized. It's a simple system of value. Where do corporate executives put their values? Do they put their values on credit or on the monetary source or on employees? Well, as you very much know, corporate America doesn't necessarily put their focus on cash more so than credit. Workers work for 2 weeks on credit, not seeing any money until the paycheck comes. Under the Muslim system of paying the employee before his sweat dries, we elevate the individual and we give him a chance to manage his own finances before taxes, before everything, before corporations even take pension money out or medical expenses. This individual has the right to make the choice after receiving cash on what choices he would make. thereafter. The books would have to be closed for Wall Street, closing entries for all of the balance sheets within your corporation would have to be done. Each day would start new. And each day, based on the expectation of a demand and earnings, you'd see nothing but a bull market, which is increases in shareholders' revenues. Now forgive me if I've made it a little complicated. This video blog dealt with an area that I am involved in, as you can see very closely. So I've waited a long time to produce it, but I want to thank you for watching. If you have any questions, I can do a follow-up video for my viewers. But in the meantime, to simplify everything in a compressed, clear image is really this. Your work, your value, your time. This system is complex beyond our understanding, but yet in your simple library, in your simple bookshelf, you have a book, and it's called the Quran. And in that, you have answers, even for current financial crises and current economic disparities. Believe it or not, brothers and sisters, Islam is a whole way of life, and the application of it, even for those who are scholastic and studying issues of economics, issues of science, they are truly able to derive a conclusion, an understanding that's more concise than any other civilization has ever seen. So be proud to be Muslim. This is your brother Umar, signing out. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.